Brooklyn's long been home to manufacturing. In fact, this place behind me used to be an old knitting factory. But right now they're making some of the coolest bike lights you've ever seen. I'm John Biggs and this is TechCrunch Makers, and let's go inside and check it out. So we're here with Ben Cohen, one of the co-founders of Bed-Stuy. So where are we right now?
We're in a machine shop called the Manufactory. It's Stuart Hayes' machine shop here in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
And you guys are building these things. So this is the Bed-Stuy light. So why don't you describe what this does?
Well, the Bed-Stuy light, we're trying to make a bike light that is sort of more durable and more aesthetic than all the other bike lights on the market. And sort of smarter than all the other bike lights on the market as well. The Bed-Stuy just goes on your bike once and you don't have to touch it. It turns on and turns off by itself if it's daytime or nighttime, or whether you're riding or when you're not. And
so it's the iPod Nano of bike lights?
Yeah, well, we hope.
So you turn it, if you want to, you actually flip this thing. So if it's set steady on the top here, it'll be steady, and if you flip it over, it blinks, correct?
That's right, yeah.
So you have a little accelerometer in there, and all the pieces are made either here or as locally as you can feasibly do.
Yeah, most of the pieces we make here in the shop. We're doing the machining both parts, the clamp and the housing. We're thermoforming the windows that go on the front. We're punching those out here. We're soldering the circuit boards here and programming them all and doing all the assembly. The only parts that aren't done here are the anodizing and the laser marking.
So how long does a piece like this, so this is the casing, how long does this take to make?
I would say in real minutes it probably takes 5 or 6 minutes to make one. We do them in batches of 500 or 1,000 just for efficiency.
So this is amazing. So you have a full-bore manufacturing studio, I guess you could say, or factory in here. There's a huge milling machine, there's all kinds of other great stuff. Why did you guys pick this location, and what's your background in terms of industrial design?
Well, we picked this location because Stuart and I were partnering to do this project, and he has this big, great machine shop to work in, and it made a lot of sense to try to do a project on Kickstarter that we could make ourselves. When we see a lot of products, a lot of amazing products on Kickstarter that sort of, once they get to the manufacturing phase, they sort of falter, and people don't have very much experience, and it's hard to make something. So we're sort of looking, and we could see, like, okay, if we make something aluminum with pretty basic circuitry, we can probably like raise the money and make this thing and make something nice and do it quickly. My background is in industrial design. Stuart's background is in engineering and machining, and we have a third partner, Mark, who's not here, who's an electrical engineer. And
why didn't you guys just make and sell this to a company, I don't know, whoever makes bike lights, Cat Eye or whatever those guys are? Just basically, instead of going the Kickstarter route, why didn't you guys become inventors and sell this, patent this idea?
The Kickstarter route to us seemed like a sort of low risk and accessible and transparent way to go about designing and building a product. It's been really nice to go through the entire process in front of an audience, and so people can sort of see into the process a little bit.
Are you guys going to make more of these kind of things?
Yeah, well, I think conceptually we're obligated to make a front light at some point, and we have a couple other little sort of bike light products that we're working on right now.
All right, super. So I guess Stuart's now going to walk us through the shop. He's going to show us how these things are made.
Yep, great.
Perfect, thanks. So we're here with Stuart Hayes. This is your shop, and why don't you show us how these things are put together?
Yeah, the bike light, the Bed-Stuy bike light, is made up of 2 machined aluminum parts, and each starts out as a bar of aluminum here. 2 different sizes, and each one takes multiple operations to make into the actual final part. The bike light parts are really, really light, and so there's a lot of material to remove.
Okay. So this is the thermoform, I guess you said?
Yeah,
the other
part of the light that we manufacture in-house is the little plastic dome-shaped windows that both seal they seal the light from water and also protect the circuit boards. And so we make those out of flat pieces of plastic, which are heated in this fixture. There's a infrared heat bulb up here, and this plate has forms for 20 windows, and you can pull a vacuum through this plate. And so you heat the plastic, bring it down, pull the vacuum, and that's how we end up with it. That thermoforms the shape of the window into the sheet of plastic.
And this looks like full-bore DIY, so you guys built this just for the...
We worked with a company and got samples made, and they just couldn't produce the quality we wanted.
Oh, okay.
And you know, they have minimum orders, they have tooling charges, they have all this stuff, and so thermoforming is a pretty basic process, which every design student learns, and so we decided to just try it ourselves. And I had a lot of these parts. I have a kind of a stockpile of spare parts for things, and so I had a lot of these things in the shop already.
And then this thing cuts the window out?
Yeah, so we end up with this sheet with 20 windows in it, and I built a, the other part of it is you have to cut them out. The tolerances on the sides are very tight, and so we have nice even gaps there. And so I built a punch that goes in the arbor press, and so you can line up each window with this punch.
Okay.
Punch it out, and you end up with these perfectly trimmed windows with no burrs on them.
All right, so then we move over, as soon as you do the windows, we move over to this monstrous machine that...
So this is, this is what does the bulk of the work here. This is just a normal 3-axis milling machine. This is actually kind of, it's an entry-level real manufacturing machine.
Yeah, I have
There's
2 of
really
these at
special
home,
about
so
it.
whatever.
I mean, it's big and heavy, but this is kind of as simple as a real machine gets. And so we start out with this block. The first operation, we remove most of the bulk of the material, really.
So it goes from this to this.
Yeah, and so it does the profile outside, hollows out the entire inside, it drills and taps holes that, for the screws that hold the 2 parts together. And then right now, Justin has been running the second operation.
This is before it's been milled out, correct?
This is...
Oh, that's okay, so it holds it in.
So what happens, you put this in so the vise doesn't crush it because it's so thin. They go in the vise, and then this does the final operation, which is to cut the window. It makes this chamfer along the edge, and it makes the curved surface on the top. And it does 6 at a time, 2 in each vise. And this is about a 4-minute cycle, so Justin stands here, takes parts out, puts new parts in.
Okay. So the laser engraving and the anodization, you don't do it here, but you do it...
No, yeah. After this, these go in a tumbler, which is on the other side of the shop, which shakes them around with a bunch of abrasive media, and that's what gets the sharp edges off. It makes this nice matte surface.
Okay.
And that's kind of the last step that gets done in here. And they go out to anodizing. It's another shop in Brooklyn we use. And then they go to Connecticut to get the laser etching on them.
So this is true artisanal locavore...
I mean, it's more convenient, you know?
Exactly.
It's hard to... You're less likely to get screwed over if you can go visit the people. Because, we're dealing with a decent amount of money for these, but really it's not that much, so it's hard to get people to really care about the work they're doing for you a lot of the time.
All right.
So keeping local makes it easier, because at least you can bug the people.
So let's see the final step, which is programming these little guys.
Yeah. To aid in the assembly of these lights, we've actually made a lot of fixtures. There's a lot of steps. We get the boards from the circuit board manufacturer, and it's 2 separate boards, and we actually solder them together, which provides the mechanical connection and also the electrical connection. And we get the boards unprogrammed, so we program them ourselves. And so we made this fixture just to, try to speed up the process as much as possible. There's a little orientation hole in here. There's a little pin in a recess. And the thing fits in. It can only go in one way. There's spring-loaded contacts in the back of that, which interface with the programming pads, the serial lines and the power lines that go to the processor, and the whole thing's held down by a magnet. So you can put it in, just hit go, it burns the fuses in, it starts flashing, it's sending the program over, and then once it's done sending it over, it reads it back to verify that everything's okay, and then they're programmed.
And it's ready to go.
Yeah.
All right, how many have you sold so far?
Through our Kickstarter, we sold around 750 of them, and since then we've had 100 or 150 pre-orders. So we're almost at the point where we've sent out all that stuff, and we're starting on our second batch of parts.
All right, excellent. And
So
the
build up
black
some
ones are
inventory.
coming soon, because I was really excited about the black ones.
Oh yeah, we have black ones.
I think we have one here, right there. So this is the black blink steady.
Yeah, we have black and silver. These are actually rejects from our laser etcher who screwed them up, which is a shame because these costs, once they go to the etcher, they've already been machined, they've already been
Oh my
tumbled. We've already paid for material, we've paid for the anodizing, and then the etcher screws it up, and it costs us, these are junk now. So it's tough working with other vendors.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Stuart. This is the Blink Steady headquarters out here in Bed-Stuy, in a beautiful converted knitting barn, I guess you could say.
Something like that.
And I'm John Biggs with TechCrunch Makers. Thanks for watching.